Car buying myth number 3, private sales are always cheaper. Now here's the truth, when you're comparing apples to apples, or when you're comparing vehicle to vehicle, there are important things to consider. One is what your initial price is, and the other is what your overall cost of ownership is. Now, we buy vehicles from customers that haven't had luck selling it privately, meaning that they were advertising their car for sale, maybe on Kijiji, maybe on Facebook Marketplace, and for whatever reason, they couldn't sell it themselves. And we made them an offer and bought their car from them. Well, what do we find? We buy vehicles that are safety. They have the Manitoba safety on them, and we run them through our shop and our stringent safety standards because, again, we double the provincial minimums on things like tires and brakes. And what do we find? We find that there's been lots of cars, and we just had another example last week, that were supposed to be fully safetied, ready for sale, and we get them into our shop and get a $4,000 bill. When you're buying a vehicle privately, you're not always getting a vehicle that we would sell, meaning that you might get an initial cheaper price, but the overall cost of ownership is going to be higher. Why? Because you're going to have to put brakes into it right away. You might have to put tires into it right away. You might have, things that don't necessarily fail safety, air conditioning, your radio working, things like that we would never sell that vehicle that way. So it's always really, really important to understand what the overall cost of ownership is. And the truth is, when you buy a vehicle privately and you have a problem, what happens? You go back to that person and say, hey, 48 days ago, you sold me a car and now I'm having this issue. Well, for the most part, when that transaction is over, that private party doesn't owe you anything. Buyer beware, it's your car. If it breaks in half, guess what? You own both halves. At Ride Time, we stand behind what we sell. That's why we guarantee our safety work for 60 days. So if you have any issues after the sale, we have a very, very good reputation. We've been in business for over 15 years. We're here to service you after the sale. And above everything else, when you buy a vehicle from us, we will also enroll you in our Oil for Life program. What does that mean? That means for the entire time that you own the vehicle, we will take care of your oil changes.